Hey everyone, it is Tuesday night, and it is that night of the month that we do a live stream here on the big page. And as you can see, Melanie's already joined me here, but we're going to give it a couple of minutes just so everyone can get on board. And if a couple of you can shout out to us, just so we know that you see us and you hear us, that would be nice. So we'll wait for that, but I'm excited about tonight. It's been a while since I've talked about Huahine. And of course, I love having Melanie as my guest because she knows everything about Huahine. So I'm really blessed to have her with us tonight. You are here. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And so, what I can't answer, I know, oh, we got kids waving too. You're going to speak French too, right? Okay.
Montre la fleur. La fleur.
Okay. Thank you, Steve, for letting me know that you can see and hear us. That would be great. Melanie, when we get towards on down the line on the show tonight, when people ask questions, I will put it up because you can't see the sidebar, can you?
I
Can you
can.
see the
I
sidebar?
see a thing that says private chat.
Okay, not that one. So what I'll do is I will put up when somebody asks a question, I'll put it along the bottom. You can see that, right?
It says you are here.
Yeah. And you know Steve. I know you know Steve.
I do?
Yeah, I'm sure you would go. You would. I'm sure you guys have ran into each other before.
Okay.
I think you have.
Ah, t'as trouvé une
I know.
belle fleur jaune.
Anyhow, let's. So anyhow, when we get to the questions and answer time, I will put them up there so you can read the questions too, and so forth. And people are starting to sign in here. We're getting people to come on in. Steve, so you don't have to work tonight. That's good, and you're no longer up at Big Bear. Steve, he's a volunteer, a person that does for the firefighters, and he was up there in Big Bear for a fire. So I know that. So, all right. So let's give it one more minute here. That way,
Vous êtes chez qui? Ah oui. Ah, où ça?
everyone can get on board. So Big Bear didn't burn down, huh, Steve?
Vous habitez dans quel coin alors?
Faré, à l'autre bout de Faré, chez les Calesco, au Fiero.
D'accord, ok. Oui. Oh, sur la montagne.
Ouais, sur la montagne.
D'accord.
Okay. Well, let's get this thing going. I'm sure there'll be a lot more people. Now it's washing away.
Oui, avec le corps.
All right. So let's light the candle here and get this thing going tonight. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of other people joining on. So anyhow, I'm going to put some slides up, some pictures up. You know these areas for the most part, Melanie. So yeah, I'll let you explain what people are seeing and so forth. Okay. And so let's share the screen here. Let's do this. And there we go. So this picture here is a picture I've shown before. But
that's from the boat, huh? From the back of the boat.
I'm on board deck 9 on the ship, approaching Huahine in the early morning. Actually, it's interesting enough. You don't see the island yet, but beautiful sunsets. Bonjour, Jeanette. Thank you.
Nice.
And it's just the nice thing about the South Pacific, especially like in French Polynesia, are these incredible sunsets and sunrises. And as you know, living there, they're pretty incredible. Yeah, pretty incredible. So let's move on to the next slide here. Again, this is the bow of the ship right here, and I'm again approaching Huahine here. You still can't see the island. I think you can see part of it here, way in the distance here. But beautiful, just beautiful skies again. So for you people that have never been there, you're in for a treat. Absolutely gorgeous colors in the sky. And now we are entering Maury Bay. Am I pronouncing that correct, Melanie? Maury?
Maore. Maroe. Maroe. Mahore.
Mahore. See, I don't do it justice sometimes. See, that's why you're here.
Mahore.
Yeah. And so what are we looking at here, Melanie?
You know that's a trick question.
Yes, it
is. That's what they call the Kokoro de Hiro. And the
Okay.
Kokoro is Hiro is a god, and he broke the island into two parts, and I guess he left a vital part of his body behind.
We would just call him Hero the Stubby, huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And of course, you know where this location is here. This is right next to the tender location in Huahine there. And of course, one of the tenders is approaching the pier. And of course, the Paul Gauguin is in the background. You know, there's always just... Go ahead, Melanie.
I was trying to get my bearings there because usually I see that mountain on the other side from the Fare side.
That's right, because that's part of the face of the volcano, the interior of the volcano. Yeah. And here we are.
There we are.
Getting on, getting ready to get on the vendor boat. And again, we're in... That's right. That's one. I think that is one of Mark's boats right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know where this is at, but go ahead and explain it. You know where this is at, right?
Well, they built a little house for the ladies who sell local handiworks, handcrafts and stuff. And it's right on the corner of the main drag of Fare, the main village of the island. So all those little yellow necklaces that you're looking at are made from tiny little shells that they pick up on more in the area like where I live on the Motu. They lay down on purpose. They lay down a coconut palm leaf, and then they come back later. All those little tiny snails, these little snails are, and they collect those and make them into necklaces, which they use to say goodbye.
Let me point out something here. The pineapples here hanging here, they're smaller than the pineapples from Hawaii, but how do they taste in Huahine?
The pineapples here in general in French Polynesia are super sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they're allowed to, to ripen all the way before you actually eat them, but they're really sweet here. They're delicious. They're no comparison.
Absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. I've never had anything better.
The boat serves a lot of local pineapple, which is wonderful.
Correct. So this area where the ladies are, this is going to be, even though they may have moved it a little bit, but it'll generally be right where there is the bus that goes from the tender location to Fare, the main town, and usually they'll drop them off right here where the ladies are, correct?
Yeah, right across the street. Yep.
There you go. And so these are all pretty much hand put together by the ladies here in Huahine. So it's a great little place to check out. So you know where this is at too.
I do. My kids love that spot for jumping into the water.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of the local
kids.
That's
a favorite spot for kids on the island when they're on holiday.
Correct. This is a great little swimming area for the local kids and so forth. And of course, this is actually right here. This is where the ferry from Papeete that goes all the way to Bora Bora but stops in Huahine. This is where it sits and unloads and loads right here. That's the main little dock.
The ferry and also all our cargo ships. We have several cargo ships that bring us goods from Tahiti, and they go there.
Correct. And come on, you know where this is too, Melanie. I'm going to keep on picking on you here.
Where am I? Oh, I'm at the beach. Yes, the Bali High.
This is right next door to the Bali High, correct? And back here is right around the bend here. This is where Fare is, but people can actually walk here and drag your feet in the sand, so that you stay legal. But there is this little stretch of beach here, and for the most part, no one gets in any trouble for going over there. They're just gonna want to find a place to go swimming for the day, correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much our public beach in
Okay.
Fare. Huh?
Good.
And
Good.
there's another kind of public
Well,
beach at the end of my road, which is where the old Sofitel used to be. And they're
correct.
both
Right.
really beautiful white beaches.
Right down the street from you. Yeah. So what are we looking at here, and where's this at? I know where it is, but hey, you, I
That's the
got you tonight,
Belvedere of
Melanie.
Fayet. Yeah, yeah. That's the Belvedere of Fayet.
Yeah,
It's a peak that you drive up and then you can look out over anchored and then you continue on down and you can go visit the blue-eyed eels.
correct, correct. It's a great vantage point up here, and
Yeah,
again,
it's gorgeous.
sometimes
You can
you get
actually
on.
from, from there you can see the bridge that divides the two islands of Huahine. Vous
Correct,
pouvez venir.
correct.
Je dois juste parler pendant un petit moment. Vous pouvez aller regarder. You speak English?
Yeah, I speak English.
Oh, okay. You can go all the way in there. You're welcome to visit.
Okay.
They're marked on the back. Most of them are 10,000 for the square ones, and then the long skinny ones are 8. And if you buy more
Just
than
so
one
you
on
all know,
see
Melanie's
it
in her studio right now because she's one of the big artists in
sales.
French Polynesia, and she's telling people about paintings and the prices on the wall. So hey, we're intruding her space today. So you know where this, Melanie, this is one of my favorite places.
Ah, yes, the La Pita Hotel.
La Pita, yeah, La
That's a beautiful
Pita.
spot.
It's
Yep.
it's a beautiful spot, isn't it? And
Yeah, you
and
can
then of course,
actually snorkel there, but if anybody does decide to go swimming at the Bali High Beach or at the La Pita, they need to be very cautious about the current because
correct, there is current
there's
that comes
sometimes
in
a
there.
very strong current there, and we've had a few difficulties in the past with
Okay.
tourists not realizing and being dragged out towards the past.
In the background here is Raiatea and Taha
Yeah,
in the distance. Yeah.
yeah,
And of course, this is part of the Lapita Mai Tai.
yep. There's the La Pita
And
Hotel. I
yeah,
was just there today, as a matter of fact.
it's a photogenic place. I just love
Yeah,
taking
it's really
pictures there.
beautiful.
It's a
It's
beautiful
on the
place.
back when I first arrived here in 1999, there were still the leftovers from the Bali High Hotel, which had been struck by a big cyclone, so it was not in operation, but it had been since the 70s. And so when the
Correct.
La Pita was built, they salvaged the little lily pond pools and built all
Correct.
around them.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, but this a little boutique resort here was originally the location of the Bali High. The Bali
Yeah,
High
that's right.
boys had
Yeah,
multiple little boutique resorts. This is the one they had in Huahine, the
yep.
original site, and it was just a darling little place, photogenic. If you do a on the ship's excursion, a day at the beach, this is the place they'll take you to. You get to spend the day here at
Oh, nice.
at the Mai Tai and enjoy the pool and the beach there and walk around the property. And of course, it includes lunch and so forth. But this is the property they'll take you to. It's one of my favorite little places to visit when I'm in Huahine.
Yeah, it's really pretty. Yeah.
All right, tell us what we're looking at here, Melanie.
My boyfriend's family's fish traps now. Right in front of this is the village of Maeva, and they have a big lake there, and it has these little
Correct.
stone mazes where the fish get stuck, and they go out and they kind of watch. They sit in the shade of that little hut, and they watch for the fish to come in, and they scoop them out with a net.
Yeah.
So they're fish traps,
And
they've
this
been
is
in
the way they
operation
did fishing for hundreds of years in French Polynesia, correct?
thousands of years. Yeah, well,
Okay.
at least a
1,000.
1,000 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is the way it's always been done there still. In
Yeah.
the distance here, of course, you can see the bridge that goes towards your place right here.
Yeah.
Yep. And again,
Yeah, there's
go
by the
ahead.
bridge. That's right by the bridge to towards my place.
It is.
And from that bridge is where people usually stop and take a look at the fish traps.
Correct. Another great little vantage point and so forth. This is the inner part of the lagoon. And this little park here was constructed by Tahiti Tourism. Am I correct?
Yeah, each little village has a little branch of people that are on top of beautifying and keeping beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful little place to to take in the vantage point if you're renting a
Yeah.
car or a scooter when you're on Huahine. Now, I've always rented a car when I want to zip around. I've never rented a scooter there because the streets, to me, there are certain areas of the streets on the island where it looks like the gravel could be a little slick if you're on a scooter. Do you want to say anything about that? I've never wanted to test my luck. I've always
Yeah, well,
rented a
and
car.
scooters in general, they're not, I mean, you need to be careful on a scooter just in general because there's potholes and there's,
Okay,
yeah, you want to be
okay,
careful on a scooter.
okay.
Can, 2 seconds.
Puis à Faré,
Uh-huh.
tu sais, à côté,
Right.
il y a quelqu'un
I've got a question for my tourist here. What?
il y a quelqu'un qui s'appelle Jean-Luc à Faré
Oui.
qui loue les bateaux. Et juste à côté, il y a un tableau comme celui-ci. Donc c'est
Oui,
toi
oui.
qui l'as fait. C'est l'original qui est là-bas ou c'est
Non, non,
c'est une
l'original, ça
reproduction?
fait longtemps que c'est parti.
Il est parti.
Voilà. Donc, j'ai des affiches et j'ai
Et-
des éditions limitées.
Bah, ouais, ça m'intéresse celui-ci.
En
grand,
édition, en
tu veux?
grand. Ah, tu veux un grand là sur, comme elle a sur le
comme
mur chez
là-bas,
elle.
ouais.
Ah, ok.
T'en as pas ici?
Il me semble que non. Parce
Non.
que je l'ai fait, ça c'est une reproduction, le grand, hein,
Ouais.
reproduction sur toile que j'ai retouchée.
Et l'édition limitée?
C'est une édition limitée. Mais j'en fais très peu sur toile et surtout ce format-là. Il me semble que j'en ai un sur papier de ce format, mais il faudrait que je regarde dans
Oui.
un.
You all didn't know you're going to get a French lesson today either.
Oui, parce que ça va rester long. Oui, oui, c'est juste pour ces clients qui viennent sur le Google.
Allez.
Okay, he's going to come back and ask questions later.
Okay, all right.
The beach down the end of the road.
Okay, oh, he's
Well,
going to go
it's
down
good.
to so he's going to go to the Sofitel
Yeah, he's gonna
beach
go down
first and then come back. Okay.
He's
Hey, by
actually
the
not
way,
a tourist. He's the professor of
Okay.
music at the college here.
There
So
we go.
he has
There we
time.
go. So talking about the Sofitel, the old Sofitel there. Now, I've been told there's some pretty good snorkeling down there still. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a good spot to go snorkeling. Although there is a current, but most of the time, if you go out a little further, the current diminishes. You can get through the current, and then you're not in such a. And it's not hard to put your foot down. It's not deep. It's you can put your foot down in the sand.
Yeah.
If you when you go to the beach, you just look out. You'll see these big clumps of coral heads, so you can snorkel all around the coral heads there, and it's really fun.
I'm going to take some of these questions as they come up, and this is, I'm sure the person's talking about the Mai Tai here, but they had a question here.
Do the bungalows and rooms have any? Yes, of course they do. Yes.
Yes, they do. I
Yes.
knew the answer, but I figured I'd let you say it. They're actually, it's just a neat little place. Okay, let's continue.
It's more of a top ender hotel.
Yeah. And hey, you know this place?
That's right in Maeva, right on the lake. It's one of the maraes. We have one of the largest areas in the village where I live, which is Maeva. We have a more concentrated of maraes, which are these sacred sites of anywhere in French Polynesia. And I should probably get better verb. That is, all those standing stones that they were like ceremonial area. But Maeva itself, the village, was an area where they had representatives of all the other villages who had they had like a spot in our area here where they stayed and they met and they had discussions. And Edos is on the boat right now giving his lectures on archaeology. Have you ever gone to one of his lectures?
I have not. But now say who it is again, because you sort of broke up, because I haven't really told a lot of people that who's staying in your little guest place right now.
Oh, well, he's not staying there right now. He's back in Moorea, but he's been working on a big project down at I think he said Papara, or he gets big government projects to work on restoring and also mapping out the maraes, the big sacred area, like old vestiges is his specialty.
Okay. And you want to say his name again?
His name is Mark Eddowes. It's Eddowes, and he's from New Zealand, but he's been down here for probably closing in on 40 years now. And he's really like a high-end specialist on this kind of thing.
Well,
he's very
anyone that's been on the Paul Gauguin knows who
people know Mark Eddowes.
Yeah, they
Marco
all
is
know.
he's very, very engaging when you listen to his lectures. When he used to be on the boat all the time, and he had his own little bunk down in the basement, and he used to go down there and hide because everybody wanted to talk to him as soon as they, got to see his lectures. They had so many questions. He's really, really very, very charming and very, very knowledgeable. Yeah,
Let me
I
let
did. I
me add
saw.
one more thing onto this picture here. I've always told people that within the Society Islands, actually mostly for all the French Polynesia, some of the best cultural ruins still of the old sacred places are on Huahine. Would I be
Yes,
correct with that? Saying that?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Um,
Pretty extensive there. Yeah.
yeah, and also, they were restored back in the say 60s and 70s. There was a really active movement to pull them back together because they were all falling down by this guy named Sinoto, who was a Japanese man living in Hawaii who was specialist, and he got everybody in the village organized, and they worked on that really hard. So they actually made it kind of a available for people to come and visit
Yeah.
in a more intact state, because there's marais everywhere in Polynesia. It was, I mean, people lived, they they spent their time stacking rocks, I guess, way back in the old days.
So,
So there's rocks like that everywhere in people's backyards.
so let me move on to this next picture here.
We were
And
together when
you
he took that
remember when I took this picture, I
Yeah,
was with you.
yes.
And a lot of people, because they stay at resorts or on the ship, they don't really know. This is pretty typical of how most locals live on the island. Am I correct?
Yep, including me.
No,
Sometimes
but
I look around and I go, "Oh my god, well, it's no worse than anybody else's."
no, but I got to tell you, and I'm going to say this too. When you see this, and they're very basic, and and there's no air conditioning, and it's very basic housing. The one thing that's very noticeable when you go around is, even though the houses are very basic, they're very proud of their little plot of land, and there's not trash on it. It's kept up. It's you know what I'm talking about. It just
Mostly,
everyone
yeah,
has.
mostly. Although, if you really got to like snuggle in there and really walk around deeply, you see Tahitians tend to, and now I'm getting like this too. They just toss the trash out the back door, and when it gets too much, they gather it all up and take it to the dump or throw it away or whatever. But it's sort of like it can get kind of junky, like old cars or things like that. But they do like to keep their leaves swept up,
Correct.
and keep it kind of neat. They like to keep the nature kind of trimmed up and under control, because
Yeah,
if they didn't, I mean, it would just be overwhelming.
correct. By the way, Mark definitely has fans. See here.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
Yep.
And another person's definitely okay. All right.
Yeah. He
And
actually is somebody that you can contact and do your private tours with him if you want. He's mostly in Morea,
correct.
so
Correct.
that's always
So
something.
another little house here, and putting the
Yeah.
laundry out to dry.
Yeah.
But this is pretty normal here.
Yep.
Okay, what
Oh,
are we looking at here?
yeah. You're sitting here in my studio, and look, I'm going to count how many things have sold since then.
You're going to
Quite a
date when I took these pictures. Actually, I'll tell you, it was 19. No, I'm sorry, 2018.
Yeah.
Or was it
Yep. Yep.
2018? I think it was when you and I
Yep.
drove around. Yeah.
Yep. I sold the girl. Now I've got a print of her, and I sold the one of the blue Hawaii Kinui, which is, I
Yeah.
also have prints of that. In fact, there's prints right now on the boat of both of those things.
Yeah. Who's this right here?
Ru'au. Caesar.
He's your significant.
He's my, yeah, my Tane, as they say. He's
Okay.
also my muse. It's one of his best jobs, being a muse.
Gotcha. Here you are at work, and you sold
Yeah.
that painting there. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that painting there is actually hanging in Papete in a gallery. And in fact, today I got a little call from a cruise director on the Gauguin asking me, because I have a print of it on the Gauguin, asking me about it because somebody's interested in it.
Ah, which leads me to the next thing here, that when you go through over by the piano bar on the Paul Gauguin, that area over
Yeah.
there,
Yep.
The paintings you see on the wall, they're Melanie's paintings.
Yes, they're actually prints of my paintings. I found that my
And so
best
you
shot with the Gauguin is I make limited edition prints on canvas and then I hand retouch them and I stretch them on stretcher bars. And if people want them, it's very easy to have the staff just pop
yeah.
the staples on the back and they can roll up and be traveled that way.
Mm.
I tried other ways, but it's, the traveling aspect becomes very difficult for people
So
carrying.
I think here he is again. I think
No,
he's
no, that's a friend of his. That's not
that's
him.
a friend.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, but
Yeah.
he's a good model, right?
He's excellent. He's an excellent model. I have lots of paintings of him.
Hey, now this is sort of a fun thing we did. I remember. You
Oh,
want to
his
explain this
dad's.
picture? This is
Yep,
his dad.
yep,
Yeah. And
yep.
what are we looking at here?
His dad spends all his day going out. Well, early in the morning, he collects, coconuts that are in the dry state, and he brings them home and he cracks them open and digs out that flesh, and then the flesh dries, and he has to watch out for if the chickens start eating it or if the rain comes along. He has to be ready to cover it up really quick, and then when it's dried out, it's called copra, and they put
Yeah.
it in bags and sell it. They bring it to the cargo ship and they weigh it, and then he gets a credit for how much weight he gets.
Yeah, I
And a
hear
lot
the
of people,
chicken. I hear the chicken for dinner right now.
yep,
Uh,
they get
so
they get. There's a lot of people on in the Polynesian islands who do that as a job because it gets
okay.
fairly good pay, and it's
Okay.
something you can do. Go pick
So
up coconuts.
I gotta point out something here because I met him when we were over there, and he was there, and you introduced me to him, and he still does this. And how old is he, Melanie?
He was born in 1936.
There you go.
He's 86.
86, and he's still doing this. Oh wow.
Yep.
All right, here we are driving around the island again. I remember this little place. This is a typical a little outrigger. Someone and they got their nets and their traps back here. What are they mostly catching here, Melanie?
Those would be crabs. Those are
Crab.
crab
Okay.
catchers. Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Crab.
reason they put their boats up like that is because they're made out of plywood and they like to, avoid having them get water laden.
Waterlogged. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
now I remember taking this picture again. I was with you,
Yeah.
and the
Exactly.
one thing, the simplicity of life on the islands. And I look at this, and I saw this swinging rope, and I saw this swing hanging from a tree. This is. It doesn't take much for these kids to be happy on the islands.
No.
Um, but but it was such the contrast here, the simplicity of the life on the island, and of course the Pagagon in the background.
Right.
I almost feel guilty when I'm on the ship now. See, uh, and you know where this is at?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
this is
Huahine
back.
Vacances or Bougainvilliers, Villa Bougainvilliers. They have a nice little thing going on because they rent their little villas with a car and a little boat.
Right, right. I know the place. I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ever thought if I was going to stay for a long pre-stay on the island or something, I might do that there.
Yeah, it's a
It
nice
just
setup. Yeah.
yeah, nice setup. And you remember this,
Yeah,
lady.
this is great. One of these days I'll be painting that one. I have a picture too.
Uh, again, it's the contrast here between the little fishing skiff there and the Pagagon in the background. She's at
Yeah.
a bus stop. She's at a bus stop here, correct?
Yep. And when she
Okay.
turns around, she's got a telephone and earphones in.
See, I wasn't gonna tell that she had her phone there with earphones, but it just made a lovely picture here. She was such a good sport. Let me take the picture there,
Yeah.
and of
Yeah.
course her flip flops there in the foreground.
Yeah, I especially love the flip flops.
It was just the total package. You got to paint this picture. Now.
I am. I'm gonna paint that. I think I have
This would be a good. This would be a good seller. This would be a good seller print on the ship.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Now, what part of the island are we on now? Do you recall this?
Huh.
I'll
Where was
say Iti. I'll say Iti.
it's on ET?
This is on Huahine Iti on the complete far end of the island when you're away from everything. And there is a little fishing skiff out there and framed up nice. And of course, in the distance is the reef and so forth. But this is the
Yeah.
complete end of Huahine
So
Iti.
in Paria or in Tipariri?
You got me.
Looks like Paria. It's like down by Paria.
Okay. Yeah. It
Yeah,
just I
those
remember.
blues, those lagoon blues.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Turquoise.
Uh,
Yep.
this is on one of Mark's outriggers here, and this
Oh,
is
you're
one of
right
the
by the
snorkeling.
Hanaiti. Oh boy, that's
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah. This is one of the
It,
snorkeling spots they like taking people to, which is just across from the main island
that's
there at Iti, right across from Hana Iti.
oh okay. This is over by that's called Vaiorea, that island. Vaiorea.
Yeah, you're right. That's
Um,
what it's called. You're right. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's
And
pretty good snorkeling here. It wasn't too bad for
yeah,
Huahine.
snorkeling is excellent there. It's beautiful
Yeah.
there. That's a good fishing spot.
Yeah. This is Mark's boat. When we're there in October, we'll be on one of Mark's boat. We will visit this location. We'll also visit this location in April, and we will be using his big catamaran for that one in April because the group's fairly large. But
Yeah.
both groups will get to enjoy this location.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And here we are. There's his catamaran, his new
Ah,
catamaran. And
nice. Yeah.
you know exactly where this is at.
Yeah. Where the picnic happens.
Yep. And then here's my group here in the water snorkeling.
Yeah.
Here's
That's
a little
beautiful
more
spot.
close-ups of them.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
I got to tell
Nice.
you, this is a pretty fancy boat Mark has. This is a
Yeah.
nice boat.
Very
Yeah.
nice boat.
It's the only one that I know of that has a bathroom on board that's
Yep.
set up for
You know
for
that
doing
when he
tours.
got the boat and he was supposed to be, when you get a motor, you're supposed to do rode. You're supposed to like break it in gentle. So what he did is he offered all the old people, anybody over 60, and he took us out by groups, and so we got to do the tour of the island in his new catamaran.
His new
If we
catamaran.
qualify for the old people's group.
I remember because you sent me some video of
Yeah,
the
that's right.
festivities and the mamas dancing and everything
They were
else. I
dancing
remember.
and playing music. It was great.
Yeah, yeah.
I was so glad I was over 60.
I was going to say you didn't get to go, right? I was making a joke that you were not 60. So
We are
what are we
at
looking
Pearl
at here,
Farm.
Melanie? Yeah, this is the Pearl Farm.
Yep.
That again, my groups get to go on.
Yeah.
This is one of my groups right here. This is
That's a treat. That's
yeah.
a treat because the owner of the Pearl Farm is also a ceramicist, and his son is also following in his footsteps. So they have all kinds of really cool, unique pottery pieces, and he uses some clay that he's found at the bottom of the lagoon to make special colors when he fires it.
Let me get that. Okay, I jumped around. I got one out of order here. This is the little beach here at Hana Iti, and
Yes.
You want to say a little bit of the history of Hana Iti?
Well, the heir to the Budweiser fortune built an incredible hotel back in the 80s. And you can actually go to Hanaiti. It's Hanaiti. And
Yeah.
you can see a little film where they're interviewing him about building it and stuff. And it was just gorgeous. They used all natural woods. They had little bungalows hanging in the trees and little pathways, like hanging rope stairways to get from, and it attracted the jet set. There were all kinds of people. I think Diana Ross celebrated her 40th birthday down here, and Julio Iglesias was always coming down here. But it got hit
Yeah.
by a really bad cyclone in 1998, and it kind of wiped it out. And I guess they decided not to rebuild because it's a complicated situation with the land. The land
It's a
leased.
little isolated, but that's
So for a long time, we
that's
was sitting there.
the
Well, now
isolation.
it's not, Jerry. There's something going on there now. They actually have bulldozed off the whole area behind the beach, and you can actually drive down the road all the way down to that beach now.
Well, I understand that they were thinking about building again there,
Yep,
building
there's
some
a
type of
plan to
resort
do, but
there.
it sounds like the people who are doing it, it sounds like they're not doing a grandiose thing. They're going to do maybe 30 to 40 bungalows, and they're
That's
planning
what
to
I
put
heard.
over water bungalows, but not not on posts, but floating,
Yeah.
which is actually a nicer idea because it won't be so damaging to the reef.
Yeah. Anyhow, my group coming up here in October and in April, we will be at this location again. This is just a neat little piece of sand here
Yeah,
to
it's a
enjoy and so
quintessential
forth.
paradise beach. I've
It
painted it.
is.
It's really gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. You can almost see Burt Lancaster and what was the actress? You know, when they did their kiss scene on the beach. You know.
Oh, I don't know. That might be before my time.
Okay. Okay. A little video here. Oop, I better.
Wait a second. Okay, there, I'm back.
I don't know. Oh, I didn't turn the
I'm
audio
back.
on.
Are you back? You're back. Okay.
Oh, I can hear
Back at the
you
Pearl
here.
Farm again.
Back to the Pearl
Yeah. Oh,
Farm,
you
and I
went.
don't
Oh,
know.
great.
I didn't turn on the audio. Bad boy, Jerry. Uh,
Yeah.
can I do that now? Nah, audio, echo. It's not letting me do that. Don't worry about it. I won't do that now. Put it back here. We'll just go on to the next thing here. And again, just another little
Oh,
piece
that's
of video
Huahine.
here.
Oh,
That's
hang on.
Hana
I'm just
Iti there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huahine.
For you that are joining me on the October 29th cruise, that is the outrigger we'll be using most likely, one of Mark's. And in the background right here is that snorkeling location right here. Yeah.
Now, does everybody know that there's like a B movie made by a French company called The Prince of the Pacific? And if you can find it, watch it because it's all filmed right on this spot.
In Hana Iti. What's the name of it again?
The Prince of the Pacific, and the main star is Thierry Lhermitte, Thierry, Thierry Lhermitte. He's a very big film star, and
Prince of the Pacific.
The Prince of the Pacific, and it's this whole story. It's actually kind of cute little story of it's kind of magical, kind of. They built a fake village on that spot.
Just because I know the location so well, I will look at it. I will check it out.
Definitely should watch it. It's really cute.
Yeah,
The Prince of the Pacific.
So
The other big name movie star in it was Marie Trintignant. You know, Trintignant is a very big. Oh gosh, we have to bark.
Hey, here we are, a little again of Mark's boat with my group snorkeling here. This is the group from March of this year, and just look at the water. The water is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
People say, "Does it really look like that?" Yeah, it really does.
Yeah,
look
it
like
does. It's crystalline. Yeah. The water here is so beautiful.
It does. It does. And now we're on the ship here, and these are the kids of Huahine. And every time I go on the ship, of course, the kids are growing up. So sometimes you'll see a familiar face from previous years, and sometimes there's obviously new kids here. But you want to tell the story a little bit about the kids of Huahine?
Well, I'm not really that sure I know the whole story of these kids. I know that they organize them in Maraway, you know, in the village, right? Yeah. It's a woman there that kind of gets it together and brings the kids on board to dance and sing. And it's a wonderful thing for them because they love dancing and singing. They love preparing their costumes, making the flowers. A lot of natural things are used in the costumes, and it really gives them a little focus. And they learn their handicrafts and they sing their songs. Kids everybody here loves to sing, and they love to dance.
And I love that. I love that about the culture over there, dancing and singing, and that historical part of their heritage, that they keep it intact, and even the young people still enjoy doing it. You know, they don't say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that." No, they really embrace
they love it.
Really,
from the time they're tiny, that when they do repetitions for getting ready for a show, they all come and they they sort of spread their picnic blankets out and they eat and everybody works on their practice. And there's little kids, and the little kids, from the time they're able to walk, are running in between the legs of the dancers and doing their little movements,
which we will see here in a second. But
Yeah.
just for you people that never been on the Pagagon before, the kids are dancing again. So when the ship is in Huahine on a Sunday, which it usually is a Sunday, the
Mhm.
kids will usually be on board, and you want to make sure you're back on board by about 4 p.m. I make sure the tours we do are back in plenty of time to be back on board, so nobody misses this moment, because it really is a neat little moment here.
It is
By
late
the way,
afternoon, right? Because somebody was asking me the other day, and I said I thought it was late afternoon.
the 4 o'clock,
Okay,
about 4:30. They'll dance at about 4:30.
Jerry, I just
By
have
the
to
way,
tell you one thing. People ask me this a lot, and they say, "How do you pronounce Huahine? Is it Huahine or Huahine?" It's actually Huahine. That's the way the locals pronounce it. And the only reason that people say Huahine is because the French do not pronounce H. They don't. They don't say ha. The French can't
so
say
until
ha.
this last year, I used to always say Huahine, and
It's
I
Huahine. That's
changed it to
right.
Wahine.
That
Change
no.
it to Wahine. Yeah, okay.
Huahine is because the French don't pronounce H, but the locals pronounce H, and they say Huahine.
Well,
So
interestingly enough, see, like uh, uh, a friend of mine, because I would butcher up the pronunciation, he gave me these little cheater cards, like here's Morea,
Morea.
and then he gave me the way it's actually
Morea.
pronounced.
Good idea.
And so I started changing the way I started saying things, saying it,
Yep.
like the
Yep.
French do. By the way, before I forget here, Steve, just so you know, this picture here with the kids, this was 2 off-camera speed lights, one on each side there. So that's how I got the shadowing.
Ah.
Yeah. By the way, he did give us the answer. It was Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr. That's right, for that beach scene. Yeah.
Ah.
All
What
right.
was the movie?
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
the name of the movie?
From here to was it From Here to Eternity? I want to say
Okay.
that Steve's older than me. He would know these things. Yeah,
Look at
here's the kids
beautiful
again,
faces.
and you
Yeah,
can see how cute they are, and
they're
they love
beautiful.
to perform.
I love to
And
paint
again,
those little kids. Yeah.
yeah, just so cute. And here they are now. Look at when we talk about the little one.
So
Is
cute. They're
we
just
know who the
adorable.
star is here, right?
Yep.
But
So
from the
cute.
time they can actually darn near walk, they're actually wanting to go out there and dance. And she's just such a little sweetheart. Look at
Yep.
that smile.
Yep.
Yeah. So cute. You don't want to miss the kids of Huahine there.
Yep.
So that is what I have to show. So I'm going back to the 2 of us here, and we can open this up for questions. If anyone has questions, we'll let Melanie answer, because, hey, I don't know all the answers. I know a lot of them, but hey, when I have Melanie, I'm going to let Melanie answer questions. So if you got a question, send it to us right now, so we can answer it live right now. That would be great. We'll give it a moment here for anyone that wants to say anything. So I'll be seeing you in a month and a half. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Want to bring me
So
some?
hey, you want to do your plug here, because everyone watching is on my Facebook page, and so you have an offer that usually, when you're looking for people to do little
Yeah, that's right.
courier, you want to pitch it. Go ahead and pitch it while we're waiting for a question or two.
Okay, hang on a second.
Okay, she's going to grab something here. Steve says yes, it was From Here to Eternity. Oh, we're dating ourselves, Steve. Oh my goodness. All right, you people. Some of you must have questions out here. Here we go.
So, anybody who wants to be the Sherpa porter and bring me stuff down to French Polynesia, you get a set of these little pen and ink prints.
And these are your prints. These are your prints.
Yeah, they're little pen and inks that I did, and I had made them into prints. And I sell either individually or as a little package of 4. And
So
so
the way you do this is, if somebody's interested in helping you out like that,
yeah,
you actually order things and have it shipped to their address.
yeah,
They toss it in their luggage, and when they come into Huahine, you or your significant will be down there to grab the goodies and give
yeah,
them a
yeah.
little thank you of your work. Correct?
That's right.
Okay. All right.
And
There you go.
I don't know. I'm getting down to where what I really need is big rolls of canvases, but I ended up bringing my own big roll of canvas the last time, so I guess I'll be good for a little
You
while.
told me that. That's right. But how big? Yeah, big roll
It
canvas.
was kind of big.
Yeah,
It's a fairly good size thing, and
it is
I
a
had
good
to
size.
make a special roll and roll up clothes and king size sheet sets, and so I managed to
Well,
make it worth the while.
well, we don't have any questions. This is really unusual. Usually there'd be some questions here. So
Well,
while we wait, go ahead.
if if anybody wants to come to my studio, just I I don't mind coming and picking people up from the dock, um, but they have to buy something. Because I mean, if I'm going to do the taxi service, I just have to expect them to buy at least
No, I
whatever.
get it. I get it. So if
But
people are maybe wanting to do something like that,
yeah,
they obviously could look at your work on the ship, and
well,
then
most of the people on your thing are probably going to go on your tour, so that won't be their
well, not everyone does. We have the person you helped here set something up.
yeah,
He's not going to. Him and his wife are not going to be on the tour.
ah,
They're going to obviously be doing a running around the island. But
yeah,
you helped them out, and I really appreciate that.
yeah,
Vicky
yeah.
says, "Okay." Vicky has a question here.
About air conditioning, haha. However, we're thinking about staying pre-cruise, either hotel on Huahine or on Morea or Tahiti, because pre-cruise is probably Tahiti or Morea, right?
Well, usually, but she's obviously asking and knowing that the subject today is Wahine. So I assume she's talking about Wahine. Yes, Wahine. She says,
Oh, okay.
yes, Wahine. Okay. Huahine.
Um,
Huahine.
Huahine, and I believe that in Huahine at that point in time, you might run into a little difficulty because already we're having a big crunch for lodging, and that's going to be the finally we're having another Hawaii Kinui, which is the big race, the canoe racing, which they traditionally were doing every end of October. It's really exciting to be in Huahine at that time, but they also have to find lodging for all the crews that come in from all over
Yeah.
the world, and so already people are starting to put little announcements on our Facebook page that's Huahine Petite Annonce, little announcements. And they're asking, like, does anybody have a place to live? Does anybody have a place to for that time? And people are saying, it's going to be really hard to find something because it's the Hawaii Nui.
Okay.
So
Well, good to know. Good to know. By the way, that leads
you
me
might
to
want to look
something.
right now if you.
I agreed. She did mention here it was October of 2023. So you're talking about uh, that, and
Pre-cruise. Yeah. Pre-cruise is
she
probably just
followed up.
about,
My
and it's
husband loves.
okay. Well, you might want to come. I mean, it's a really exciting time to be in Fare because they stands all through the main town of Fare. It's not like you normally know Fare. It's crowded with little stands and people selling all kinds of stuff, you know, t-shirts with logos and hats and this is and that's and food of all kind of. It's just really exciting. It's like a fair, and then that happens the whole week before they take off. And the morning
Got
that
it.
they take off,
Got it.
it's super early in the morning, and then they paddle from here to Raiatea, and the next day they paddle from Raiatea to Taha, and the next day they paddle from Taha to Bora Bora, and that's the end. And
Wow.
so
That's a
it's an
lot of
exciting,
paddling. That's a lot of
yeah,
paddling.
yeah,
We enjoyed because it was Haiva when we were there in July, and they were
yeah,
doing the mini Haiva there on Bora Bora when we were
yeah,
there, and they were doing the canoe race around the whole lagoon, around the whole main island. That was
yeah.
pretty exciting.
Heva,
Yeah,
Heva,
Haiva. You're right.
Heva.
She did mention again October 2023. And
Oh,
that's an
23, yeah.
important thing here
Well, it's usually
because
around
I have a group cruise in October 2023. That's
I
the
see.
11-night Cook Islands and Society Islands. So
Oh,
for
nice.
you that are thinking about it, that's my next open date. Actually, everything else I have, I'm booked out solid for October this year. I'm booked up full in April next year. So the next one I have for my group cruise is actually October 2023, and I still have space on that available. So if you're liking what you're seeing, I have a group cruise for October 2023.
Well,
Any other questions tonight?
if somebody wants to stay in Huahine in October of 2023, same thing goes. Get your reservations in very early because for the Hawaii Nui, everything gets jammed full, and we're
Yeah.
already pretty jammed.
Yeah. Vicky, just so you know, you can get a hold of Melanie on the side if you want to, and to see if she knows of something or you want to continue that conversation to help you out or point you in the right direction for an appropriate place to at least inquire about. So, any more questions tonight before we call it a night and I go eat dinner? It's only 4 o'clock for you, though. You're 3 hours
Yeah, that's
behind
right.
me there, girl.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to give it another 30 seconds here if you got another question. Steve says, is it busy during
Heva,
Heva?
July. Yeah, it's always busy during Heva, but it's not as busy as the Hawaii Nui, but it's busy during Heva. It's traditionally, these last couple years, it's been not like it normally is, but usually there's all kinds of activities in town. There's dancing every night and singing every night under the big tent, which is just outside of Fare. Um, they have races with the fruit on their shoulders and pick up the big rocks contests and throw the javelins up at the cocoa contests. They have a lot of
Well,
activities during the month of July.
25 years ago, I could pick up a pretty heavy rock, and I used to do it when we would be there. Yeah,
I can do it
everyone,
again.
yeah, because back then I used to lift weights when I was younger, and
Uh-huh.
so I think I surprised some of the locals because that was the macho thing, and so
Yeah. That's
yeah,
their thing.
yeah,
The other
I
thing that they
can't
do
do
is
that
they
anymore.
compare roots.
Yeah,
They look
Vic,
for the best root.
yeah. Vicky Vicky says
Everybody
thank
digs
you.
up their big tuberous potatoes that they planted all year, and they bring them into town and they inspect them and measure them and give you a prize if you have the best, weirdest formation and heaviest root.
Vicky says thank you. So,
You're welcome.
Vicky, you can talk to me too, Vicky, and I have a few places I can point you to as far as a place if you're thinking about Huahine. A lot of most people, 80% of the people that come into French Polynesia, and if they're doing a pre or post or just staying on the island, they go to Moray or they go to Bora Bora.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are missing out because there's some islands like Huahine. They're absolutely phenomenal and have a much more closer resemblance of true Polynesia. Would I be
Yes.
correct with that, Melanie? Okay.
Yeah, I second you on that one.
Okay. All right. I guess we're done for tonight. Melanie, thank you again so much.
It was
Okay.
fun to see you.
And hopefully I'll see you on the 30th of October.
Yes.
And if you're going to be over there, I think you will be. I'll see you. I'll see you
Yep.
then, and so forth. Okay.
Oh, great.
How much do those rolls of canvas weigh?
Oh, Jerry, you don't want to carry a roll of canvas. It's such a pain in the neck. I'll send you a roll of glassine paper. There you go.
All right. All right, everyone. Again, thanks for joining me. And you can always ask me questions too on the open forum. When you have a question, other than PMing me, I actually prefer if you put it on the open forum, because not only do you get me usually answering the question, but you get other people that have visited there giving their 2 cents worth. And I think it's important that you're getting a very balanced response. And so when you start seeing a common denominator, let's say if there's 6 responses and 4 of them are very similar, it's telling you something. Okay. But I like you to put them on the open forum so everyone can participate. That's part of the reason, that I do the page here, is for everyone to be able to share and learn and glean
That's a
off
nice
of one
thing,
another.
Jerry. It's really nice that you're doing that.
Yeah, as well as, of course, I like having people come along on the group cruises, So, but I don't like to over pump them too much. So people know I do group cruises. If they're interested, they know they can contact me. So, by the way, I will do the last little plug here. If you if you are thinking about a group cruise, that's the travel agent I use right there, Elaine San Juan. You know Elaine, and that's her contact information, so you can get a hold of Elaine. So I guess we're going to call it a night again, Melanie. Thank you, and I will see you in about 6 weeks. Okay.
Great.
All right,
Bye.
everyone. Bye bye. Bye bye. And